Since 1975, when the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, was passed, special education students have been included in classrooms all across the states. The law calls for children with disabilities to be educated in the least restrictive environment, opening the door for them to join general education classrooms in their neighborhood schools. In the almost 35 years since IDEA was passed, more and more children with disabilities have been included in classrooms, and the self-contained school has become a thing of the past. Mary Chilton is a North Carolina-based special educator currently working with Lincoln County Schools. Before she began teaching in Lincoln County, she was working with students at Conover School, a self-contained special education school that she likened to daytime institutionalization. Here is what she had to say about the importance of art inclusion with her students.
We did not have art, we did not have music. I tried my best to include those for my students, but we didn't have an art teacher, we didn't have a music teacher. And it was really up to the individual classroom teacher to try to figure out how to give those experiences to our students. For some students, they got nothing. Teachers weren't so inclined. And that was a huge disservice. I mean, that's one of the huge, big downsides of the self-contained school is they're not exposed to, they're not given everything a general ed kid can get. They're such a disadvantage. You know, there's something called incidental learning, and that's the learning that kids do from each other all day long, in school and out of school. You're living your life, you're walking around, you're seeing how people do things, and you're subconsciously copying that. And so in the self-contained school, there's never any of that. They're only copying other kids with disabilities.
Respect for diversity creates a welcoming environment for all. Inclusive education for students with disabilities can only be successful when those students feel that they are truly a part of the community. This requires an open and honest discussion about difference and an institutional respect for people of all backgrounds and abilities. In inclusive schools, the establishment of such a climate benefits everyone by fostering an environment where students and their families are valued for who they really are. When people with a disability are welcomed and included in their younger years, they are able to have a better grasp of self-worth into their adulthood. This inclusive community created for the next generation not only helps people with disabilities feel like productive members of society, but creates understanding allies for them. When the typical student is surrounded by a diverse group, they are able to experience people who are different without thinking that they are less. When society creates compassionate people, everyone wins. The United Methodist Agency for the Retarded is a North Carolina-based nonprofit that focuses its efforts towards community inclusion, independence, and growth for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Their Arts on Main program in downtown Lincolnton encourages creativity through visual, performing, literary, and culinary arts while improving life skills. Mary Chilton says that without inclusion in schools, many adults wouldn't know their passion for art, let alone their passion for human interaction and community. She has known many of her graduated students to move on to day programs such as Arts on Main, and their involvements within the community is crucial to their lives.
Just like with any other kid, you know, they deserve and need to be exposed to a lot of varieties of different types of things in school, and so that they can learn about what they're good at, what they like, what they don't like. And also just all bigger than that, or at least as big as that, is all that incidental learning that they get from being around a bunch of typical kids. And all the incidental learning those typical kids get by being around a person with a disability.
Yeah.
And then when they're grown-ups and they have businesses, they'll be open to hiring someone with a disability. When they see someone with a disability out in the community, you know, I think we're all innately a little bit afraid of what we don't understand. And so if they've been around kids with disabilities their whole lives, they'll understand it. It won't be strange.
While observing Arts on Main, I spoke with a woman with Down syndrome who has been attending weekly lessons with UMAR since she graduated from high school. She told me that art was always something she enjoyed participating in school, but when she graduated, she lost touch with her creative side and began feeling depressed and unproductive. She said UMAR's art program not only offers her a creative outlet and a sense of mastery within the world of photography, but a sense of community and belonging that is hard to find as an adult with an intellectual disability. Students who choose to pursue art outside of school began to identify as an artist rather than a person with a disability, giving them a sense of individuality and commitment to their work. All of this stems from her inclusion in school, and who knows what her mental health would be like if she wasn't able to identify as a photographer. Overall, art inclusion is crucial to students with a developmental disability and to those without. Art offers a safe place for all people to express their needs, desires, questions, and comments about their lives and their world while supporting communication between the typical and the disabled. Finding a balance between specialized education and inclusion is beneficial to all involved and will have an impact on our communities in the future.